All right, thank you. Before I get started, I'd like to acknowledge my wife, Selena Sigafus Jackson. If you could stand up. You know, I met her the first day of classes, and I didn't really know much about chiropractic, but if it wasn't for her and her family, I just wouldn't be the man I am today, so I appreciate her. And she's also allowed me to be a chiropractor who all I have to do is show up in the office and adjust. So it's a great thing if you have the opportunity to have a spouse who's a chiropractor, because all I do is adjust. She takes care of all the rest for me, and I appreciate that. B.J. Palmer, he really liked the wildlife. And if you just look at his look on his face, you can see he's just enjoying himself. And that's a wonderful thing, because that's what we're supposed to do as chiropractors, is enjoy ourselves. And but he really didn't care, I don't believe, what people thought. And that's how I am. I don't care what people think. I don't care. I'll tell anybody I'm a chiropractor. I have no shame. I love it. I tell my kids, who are going to both be chiropractors, that we're different, we're radical. We don't think the same as other people. It's a blessing to be a chiropractor. And that's right. And when the medical doctor's kids at school say you're not a real doctor, that's right, I'm a real chiropractor, and I'm proud of it. We don't do drugs. All right. So I'm going to talk about a PR campaign. Everybody's talking about practice building. My practice building technique's a little different. One is I'm really into preparation. I like to prepare myself. I work 33 hours a week, and I'd like to prepare myself 33 hours a week. So part of my preparation is just getting myself clear, getting rid of the subluxation above atlas. Building my practice from the inside out. We haven't done screenings we've been in practice for 24 years, and 22 years I haven't done a screening, a dinner, an open house. I haven't asked anybody for a patient, a referral. It's not that I wouldn't I don't think that's a bad idea, but I think if you really prepare yourself mentally and you get clear, you just don't have to do that anymore. And so that's what I want to appeal to you guys. I take hours every day. Like, for example, I get up 5 o'clock every morning and I go golfing. And you might say, well, geez, how does that prepare you? Well, I go golfing by myself and I don't think. I just listen. And I just let the wee little voice inside speak to me. Because I want to be clear when I go in the office. I don't go on Facebook. I might go on for 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and I'm not condemning people when they go on Facebook. But it's about being clear so that you can express yourself above, down, inside out. This is a chiropractic seminar. This is a philosophy seminar. And the philosophy is above, down, inside out. And that's how I really believe you build a practice. Not from the outside in, which isn't a bad thing. You have to go and get people sometimes. You have to present your ideas. But if you really become clear, I believe you can become more attractive. The other thing is really working on your reputation. Doing things that don't stain your reputation, like forced care plans. Having people sign up for care and pay huge amounts of money up front so they'll stick with their care plans. I'd rather have someone stick with their care plan because they really enjoyed and valued what I did. Not necessarily having to pay for it up front, and not criticizing that either. But the principle of chiropractic is what you should be selling, not the practice. All right? When someone comes in, you want to sell them the principle that we all work with. It's very important. So it's up to us to understand the principle and accept it in full faith, and comprehend the totality of that principle and what the principle of chiropractic means. And then teach that principle to your people on every single occasion, not just a once and done. It's a nonstop education process. One of the best lessons I have ever received was from my father-in-law, Jim Sigafus. And that's a picture of him going to a mission trip. And I said, how is it possible to see 10,000 people a week? What's the quality of care? How can that be? And he said, well, it's really the message that you give the person, or the people who don't even speak English, has to be really streamlined and focused, laser beam-like. And it has to be your intention. If you just look at that picture, you can see he's listening to that man in the wheelchair who walked after he got adjusted. And that's where you have to be at. You have to have that ability to get rid of all the crap in your life. And that's very important. He was a mentor. And Sid Williams was a mentor. And Chuck Ribley is my current mentor. I love him. appreciate him. If it wasn't for Chuck Ribley, Life University would not be where it's at right now. So give Chuck Ribley a big hand. I didn't hear his name mentioned for an award tonight, but he's probably the most influential person in this room, and maybe in chiropractic right now. Primary care. This person came in the office and I was laughing. I had one of the CAs take a picture. He was at the emergency clinic that is next to us. And he was telling the receptionist, he sprained his ankle or something, and he was telling the receptionist, when the paperwork said, "Who's your primary care provider?" he said, "My chiropractor." And we were laughing because the person taking the intake information at the emergency clinic was also a patient, and she said, "That's my primary care provider too." So primary care in this sense doesn't mean that I'm a physician. Actually, it's the first place they come for health, because they heard a different message from me, and that's what I want to appeal to you tonight, is a simple, specific message that makes us unique and different from everybody else, even other chiropractors. I don't know if I missed a... Okay. This lady is a pharmacist. She comes in, and I never criticize medicine to her. In fact, I don't make a habit out of criticizing medicine, medical procedures, because I'm not a medical doctor. I don't even treat symptoms, but people come in with symptoms, but not in my mind. All I do is I connect people. I connect their brain to the rest of their body. I connect them to the source. She's the one who criticizes the overuse of medication. She's the one who comes in weekly for probably 2 decades now. This kid comes in, his mother started care. They come in for asymptomatic care, the whole family. And that was a concept they never heard before, asymptomatic care. The mother started, she started getting adjusted. She liked what she had to hear. She believed in what we were saying. She found credibility in us because we weren't selling anything but a better way of life. We weren't selling any different procedures or anything like that. We were just connecting her and educating her on a principle. But nothing is forced in our office, and that's what I want to appeal to you. There's no forcing people to sign up. There's no forced visits. It's letting people be free. Chiropractic is about being free, letting people choose to be free, getting adjusted and being freed up in their spinal cord, getting freed up in their mind. It's very important. She's a physiatrist. She's been coming in for a couple decades. She probably has, she works at the local sports and spine center. She has all types of physiatry available to her and injections, but she's not coming in for any type of therapy or therapeutic situation. She's just coming in because she understood something. She understood a principle, a message, and I'm going to share that with you shortly. This lady here, she's really sexual. And you can confirm it with my wife. She always says if she was 30 years younger, my wife would have some competition. But she says the darndest things. But anyways, we always want to make her feel special. I'm here to serve her. I work for her. They don't work for me. They're not trying to fit into my agenda. I'm not trying to see as many people as I can so I can build a big house or have a Rolex watch or a Ferrari or what have you. Those things come afterwards. But to make a long story short, she came in, she started getting adjusted, and she said that a quarter-sized hole that she would see out of her right eye that was dark, it was like a dark hole, started going away, and she wanted to know if something I was doing in her neck had anything to do with it after hearing the chiropractic story. And so she continued to get her upper cervical area checked, and she went to her ophthalmologist, and her macular degeneration went away. And she said it was because of the chiropractor. And the ophthalmologist said, that's a miracle. And that's how the body is. It's a miracle. So are we selling a principle, or are we selling a procedure or a care plan? It's very important. These people drive 1 hour. 1 hour. They're from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which has a ton of chiropractors. York has a ton of chiropractors. Hershey has a ton of chiropractors. But they drive for 1 hour just to have their kids checked. Sometimes the kids get checked and they don't get adjusted. Do you think they feel ripped off, or do you think they feel elated? And of course, they feel elated because they learned about a principle, a very simple principle, the same principle that Jim Sisyphus was relating to the man in the wheelchair, the same principle that I've worked on accepting it in full faith and teaching people about and working on it for 33 hours a week to get clear. I've never used a practice management company, even though my father-in-law did practice management. Of course, maybe that's why I always had his input in that. But the way to do things can come from innate. It can come from listening within. I mean, the practice of chiropractic is not really complicated. And the running of a business is really elementary. It's not that difficult. A person comes in, you set up a fee, and they pay it. You pay your bills. But anyways, she heard something different. She was going to a chiropractor. They were going to a chiropractor. They heard from someone in their church that there's someone who does something different, something unique. You know, the philosophy is our biggest marketing tool, and so is the adjustment. When you deliver an adjustment on purpose for the right reason, in the right direction, the adjustment actually does the marketing for you because it's called results. You know, I'm not racking and cracking people and just processing people to see how many people we can see. It's not what it's all about. It's about working for them. I'm 53 years old and I've been doing this for 25 years, and I do 90% of the adjusting. Bless my wife, she's allowed me to do that. And it's 300 visits a day, full spine. And that's pre and post checks. And with soap notes, we have 10 CAs. But the deal is this, is that this message can spread through your people like wildfire. And it builds your practice for you if it's done properly and you did it with the right intention. This lady's a physical therapist, and she comes in for headaches. She has all the physical therapy available to her, and that didn't work for her, and she heard I was a good chiropractor, or we were good chiropractors. But there's no competition because what I was telling her had nothing to do with physical therapy. And she now comes on a regular basis because she wants to get rid of her anxiety, and she wants her nervous system to work better. There's no conflict between us and physical therapists. She said, I'm not in any competition with anybody because I do something so unique and so specific. This little one came in, someone referred her in, and she was on Imitrex and on a preventative dose every morning. They'd give it to her. So the grandmother brought her in, they listened, the grandmother got under care too. That's the biggest practice builder right there, is when you tell the story in an intelligent way at their level with the right intention and the right heart and no gain of your own to be made. You're giving. That was a very important point that Kevin made, is when you give, you receive. If you go in there trying to close a deal for $2,700 in 70 visits, you just railroaded yourself from a referral, in my opinion. Anyway, she started getting adjusted. She came in about 10 times. I've never seen her since. But after about 3 visits, she was asymptomatic, and I guess they got all they needed. This lady came in for back pain, but she also had, she'd wear those glasses there that she's wearing. She had an aneurysm, and after the brain surgery, she was really severely sensitive to light. And she started getting adjusted and getting her neck adjusted for the right reason, before scan, after scan, with the right intention, the right message. And now she comes in just to get adjusted, and she doesn't wear the shades anymore. This lady is a scientist from Johns Hopkins, one of the most sophisticated hospitals and teaching institutions in the United States, and she delivers new vaccines to the population. She brought her child in there. His nickname is Hedgehog, but very sweet kid. But we never criticized vaccines at all with her or anybody else. If the subject comes up, we're more pro-choice than anything and pro-education. But to make a long story short, she said the solution that we offered was much better than, for bedwetting, was much better than the pediatricians. Now she's under care, the other baby's under care, the other daughter's under care, and the dad's under care. It spreads like a virus. When you got something unique and powerful delivered with a clear mind and a clear message, it's amazing what happens if you can deliver the goods. A lot of times chiropractors talk a big talk, but they cannot deliver the goods. They cannot adjust the way that matches what they're saying, and that defaults. This lady comes all the way up from DC, and DC is 2 hours south of us in York, Pennsylvania. And I know she had MS. She came in, she started getting adjusted. We didn't talk about curing her MS or anything like that. She just started getting adjusted and checked. She learned to like it. One day, she said, "I'm not on any MS medication anymore." And at that point, she moved to DC. She looked for another chiropractor who could duplicate what was going on in our office. Not saying that we're that special, because there's tons of people who do it. The intention being the big issue. Just want you to understand that. And she's willing to drive 2 hours to get adjusted every Saturday. I open Saturdays. Like I said, I open 6 days a week because, not that I have to, it's because people actually need me. I work for people. And I have a very fulfilling life, but my life comes from service and service to others. This person came in, this little one, the mother brought her in, and she was frantic. "Can you help my little child? Can you help my little child?" The child limped when she walked. Her hand couldn't move quite the way the other one did, and her pupil was dilated. That morning, I was clear. Innate was speaking to me. I had everything firing. I said, "She's not a chiropractic patient. She needs to go to the hospital." She went to the local hospital. She was flown from that hospital to Hershey Medical Center for a brain tumor. She had the brain tumor removed, came in and started getting adjusted, and she brought us a thank you note. Probably saved her life. The odd couple, I had to green out some people that were in the back, so I apologize about that, but that's the local coroner right there on the left, and that's a family doctor on the right. This is a Saturday that they came in, and the funny thing about a Saturday is I only see you for about a minute. That's every day, but especially on Saturdays, because I'm only there for an hour and I see about 60 people or so. What would a coroner think of a 1-minute adjustment and a family doctor who's also a peer reviewer for work comp? What are they doing there? That is the odd couple. But they heard a message that they actually found to be credible from me. They found the procedure that I did to have great value. They found no ulterior motive in why I was seeing them. And because of that, they show up regularly to get adjusted. You know, getting rid of the subluxation above atlas is so imperative. It's so important. Procedures in the office are very important. But I'm telling you, your mindset and your belief system and getting clear and spending time on yourself is very, very, very valuable. Getting in a state of gratitude and a state of service is amazingly productive for your office. I'm almost done. This was written up by a lawyer who comes in. I sponsored his rugby team. We bought jerseys. And so he wrote this up, and it goes on to say that chiropractic or Sigafoos and Jackson, it's about more than your pain. It's about getting connected, blah, 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 with your nervous system. We all know the story, but the point is that I didn't ask him to write that. He was going to put an ad in his brochure that they give out at the games, and I said, "Just take a business card and you can put it up there." But he said, no, that's not good enough. Not for what you do. He said, "I'm going to write," he didn't actually tell me, he just brought it in when it was done. He wrote that up for us, and it was really very sweet. And that's the power of communicating when your intention is clear, when your adjustment can back up your philosophy. When you're selling the principle instead of the practice. We always win Best of York. There's about 50 chiropractors there, and it's a town of 50,000. The competition's pretty stiff. Not that we're that great, but the principle of chiropractic is great. And serving is a great thing to do. And getting lost in service is the big idea. Anyways, the lesson is simple. The Sigafoos lesson, which we all know what it is, but there's one cause and there's one cure. And the one cause isn't subluxation, and the one cure isn't the adjustment. The one cause is being disconnected from your source. And the one cure is being connected to your source. And this is the simple message that we give everybody that you just saw there. You know, thousands of times per week, we're giving this message. One cause, one cure. Connecting, getting adjusted to get connected. We're not medical doctors, we're not symptom treaters, we're not physical therapists, we're not massage therapists. We're no forced care. You come as you want to. You come as you understand. And the barometer to tell whether you are good at delivering the message and delivering the adjustment is you don't have to search for patients. They come to you, they search you out. You don't have to ask for referrals after a while. Okay, initially when you get into practice, you have to do a little bit of groundwork. All right? But your barometer, if you find that you're always having to go out and get people, then shake them through your little holes and sign up workshops and all that kind of stuff, that is okay. But what's even better is a higher level of thinking. B.J. Palmer had that diagram that solved all of man's problems. And basically that diagram said to listen to your innate. That's very, very, very important. Very hard to do. So chiropractic it's not difficult, but we make it difficult. We complicate things. Preparation, reputation. Protect that reputation. Don't do crazy things like Groupon ads, you know, for $500 and 50 cents off. 50 cents you can come in for 3 services. All right? It's about seeing people, and it's about loving people, and it's about changing our world. God bless Life University and Life Vision, and God bless you guys. I appreciate it.